Hi everyone, it's Chris and welcome to my channel, The Vinyl Orchard. Thank you very much for popping by today. Now the other day I was playing some albums that I haven't played for so long I couldn't actually remember what they sounded like. I'll probably do a separate video on it actually because there's about 9 or 10 of them. One of them was this album, Feet Don't Fail Me Now by Little Feat from what, 75, 74. I couldn't really remember this at all actually if I'm really honest, but there's one song for me that stood out, it's Spanish Moon. Really good song with a lovely horn arrangement on it. And one of the other albums I was playing was this album by Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen, double album. And there's a song on here called The Letter, which has got, again, a lovely kind of brass horn arrangement on it. So that got me thinking about what other albums do I have in my possession where horns really enhance the song. Not obviously, we're not talking about saxophone here. We're talking about flugelhorn, French horn, trombone, trumpet, and so on. So one that sprung to mind was a song from, I've got it on this album, The Byrds' Greatest Hits. It's on, I think, Younger Than Yesterday, I think. And it's So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star. Lovely bit of horns on it, really enhances the song. Great tune, really like that. I played the next song the other day, so I immediately pulled this one out as a reasonable example, but it's not really a rock tune, but anyway. That Is the Way by XTC from their album Drums and Wires. Nice bit of horns towards the end that really enhances the song. Next up is a song by a band who I don't actually possess the original. What I've got is the cover of it, and the cover version is on the debut album by Black Sabbath. And so there was two covers on here: Warning, which is an Ainsley Dunbar Retaliation song, and Evil Woman, Don't You Play Your Games With Me, which originally was done by a band called Crow. I think they're American, and the original has got a really nice bit of brass on it, which really enhances the song. It's a great song. One of the first ones I thought about when I was pulling albums off the racks for this video that have got, you know, brass on it was the title track from Fleetwood Mac's Tusk. Now this is an album that was obviously, you know, painstakingly recorded, so very, very different to the album that preceded it, obviously Rumours. Took ages to record and a fairly painful process, I think, but I've always quite liked the title track. It's unusual and I kind of like the marching band bit in it. Next up is a band who originally were just session musicians, and they'd played with numerous people. They'd played with Boz Scaggs and Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson, and then formed their own band in the late 70s, and I think are still going actually. But anyway, it's Toto, and this is probably their most successful album, Toto 4, the album that spawned Africa and Rosanna, which has got a lovely horn arrangement on it, as well as some fantastic drums from Jeff Porcaro. Next up, you may not recognise the cover, but you may have heard the band. It's the Electric Flag, Michael Bloomfield's band, and this is the album A Long Time Coming. Grooving is Easy is a good example of horn-driven rock from that album, second track on side one. Next up is a guy guitarist who'd been in the James Gang and then the Eagles, and had also a solo career pretty much running before and during and after those bands, and it's Joe Walsh. And this is the album There Goes the Neighbourhood, which is what, from the early 80s, I think. But there's a song that starts off side two. It's called A Life of Illusion. I really like that song. It's got a lovely bit of horn on it, which really, really enhances the song. If you're talking about horn-driven rock, you've probably obviously got to include Blood, Sweat and Tears. You Made Me So Very Happy is my example from the album from Al Cooper's band, Blood, Sweat and Tears, from what, about 1968, something like that. But there's a number of songs you could have chosen by that particular band. And if you're talking about Blood, Sweat and Tears, there's, and again, I've got this somewhere. I've got it on 45, but I just couldn't find it anywhere. It's got by a band called the Ides of March. The Ides of March were a band that included a guy called Jim Petterick, who went on to be quite a successful songwriter. And he played with Survivor, and he was the guy who wrote Eye of the Tiger. So, you know, obviously a decent songwriter. But he's in this band called the Ides of March, and they did a song called Vehicle, which, if you may think, well, I've never heard that. When you hear it, and I'll probably, if I remember, I'll put a playlist down below. It's a really, really famous kind of brass refrain on it. Fantastic song, Vehicle by the Ides of March. Okay, so this is probably my top 10 coming up now, actually. So first up, we've got Them Changes by Buddy Miles. This is the album, and the song I'm choosing is the title track. Brilliant horn arrangement on that. Fantastic tune by Buddy Miles. Next up, you've got to include Santana. This is their third album, the first to feature two guitarists, Neil Schon and Carlos Santana. And the song that is, you know, they use horns a lot in their stuff, but I love this song. It starts off side two. It's called Everybody's Everything from Santana, the third album. Absolutely brilliant song with a tremendous horn arrangement on it. Next up is a band that I remember the first time I ever was aware of this band was watching the kind of Woodstock movie, I think it was. But this is a great album. This is the album Stand by Sly and the Family Stone. You know, they kind of, for me, they invented funk rock, this lot. They're absolutely brilliant. But there's a song in here, it's got great brass section. I Want to Take You Higher. What a fantastic song that is. Next up is my, probably, could be, and probably is actually, my favourite song by this band, and it's from my favourite album by them, and it's Exile on Main Street by the Rolling Stones. And the song, which has got just brilliant horns on it, which really does bring the song to life, it really enhances the song. It's called Rocks Off, probably my favourite Stones song from my favourite Stones album. Next up, I mentioned this guy already because this is a guy that's been supported by the members of Toto, certainly on sort of late 70s albums. This is a early 70s album, if not a late 60s album. I can't actually remember. But it's Boz Scaggs' self-titled album. And there's a song on here which features Duane Allman on guitar, which is a stunning song. It's a Fenton Robinson song. Now, the original by Fenton Robinson is reasonably short, it's sort of 3-4 minute song, but this has been elongated to something like about 12-13 minutes. It's called Loan Me a Dime. Which is just a brilliant song. Wonderful guitar, but it's got a fantastic horn refrain through it, which just builds as the song builds. It's just brilliant. Now, again, if you're going to talk about horn-driven rock, there is a band that would immediately spring to mind that you have to include, and it's Chicago. These are their first two albums. So this is the first one, Chicago Transit Authority, and then they changed their name just to Chicago. And the song in question comes from this second album, and it's probably in their proper era, and I'm talking about the era that doesn't include If You Leave Me Now and Hard Habit to Break, that kind of soppy songs. But when they were proper good kind of horn-driven, brilliant band, there's a song on here which is called 25 or 6 to 4, which is a wonderful horn-driven rock song. Now, it also features, I think, one of the greatest guitar solos ever recorded and put down on a record. The guitarist's name is Terry Kath, and it's just a brilliant guitar solo, but the horns that drive the song are fantastic. 25 or 6 to 4 from the second album by Chicago. Brilliant stuff. We're into the top three, my three favourite songs that include horns. These three immediately sprung to mind when I thought about albums that I need to pull out and songs I need to share. So number 3 is from this album, classic album, Forever Changes by Love. And I have to choose the opening track, Alone Again Or. It's just a brilliant song. The trumpet on it is fantastic. It's an iconic song, iconic cover, iconic album, and that song is just brilliant. Now, you might not have originally, if you're thinking about, what ones will I choose, you might not possibly think about this song, but this one sprung to mind quite quickly because I love this song. I adore this song. This is a wonderful, timeless rock song, and it's by band Golden Earring, and of course it's Radar Love. Now you might think, is there horns in that? Go and play it. The horns on it are just fantastic. Dun, 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 dun. It's just brilliant, absolutely fantastic, the horns on that song. And the one that sprung to mind immediately is one of my favourite songs from the 70s, from the late 70s, and one of my favourite songs from the punk era. Now this particular song opens up their second album, which is my favourite album by them. I remember buying this song on a single in 1978. I just bought a couple of singles by them, and this was the third one I bought. And when I played it, because I bought it blind, and when I played it, I thought, my God, it's got trumpet on it. But oh my God, it is the trumpets, on the horns, just absolutely drive the song. And the song is by an Australian band called The Saints, and it's called Know Your Product. It is an absolutely stunning song, probably my favourite song from 1978, and certainly one of my favourite songs from the kind of punk new wave era. Fantastic horn-driven rock song. Know Your Product by the Saints. So there you go, 20. There are probably loads. I've probably missed loads. Tell me what your favourites are in the comments below, and I'm sure I'll be back sometime soon with another video. Cheers.